Good evening, everybody. My name is Alan. I want to thank you for finding my channel, Kindred Souls of Brooklyn. I want to wish everybody happy holidays. Tonight, folks, you're in for a real treat. You know, there's nothing better than a good old Brooklyn secret and a good old Brooklyn mystery. So tonight, you're in for a real good one. 58 Joralemon Street, hidden in plain sight, owned by the MTA, the Metropolitan Transit Authority, since 1913. It looks like a regular building on the outside, as you could see, but inside it holds lots of secrets. And it sits in plain sight of one of the busiest areas of all of Brooklyn. You know, St. Francis College, the courts, New York Technical Institute, Brooklyn Law School. So much stuff going on down there. But meanwhile, as much stuff is going on around it, there's a lot of stuff going on inside of it. So I want to show you what the neighborhood looks like. I want to show you the outside of this house, which is actually a fake out exterior. And you can make your own conclusions, but you can go by there. You probably have done it already. But stay tuned for a really cool video on 58 Joralemon Street, the most mysterious house in all of Brooklyn. Oh, and one more thing. I did take this footage back in March of 2020, right before COVID. So you're going to notice that people aren't wearing masks because I was there in March. And I was kind of saving this video for now for the holidays. Thought it'd be really cool. So I hope you enjoy it. 58 Joralemon Street. Hey folks, I just want to show you real quick. This is Court Street, not too far from the building that I'm going to show you on 58 Joralemon. But if you've never been to Brooklyn, and if you haven't, you just missed it like me, this is an idea of how busy it really is. Now, there's a Trader Joe's off to the right. I just walked past Atlantic Avenue. There's so much activity around here, it's just hard to imagine. And the fact that this building sits so close to this, now, this is where you're going to find as you go in the direction of, say, Prospect Park. But I'm going to show you where, this is where, the courts would actually be. But on the other end is where you would look out over towards South Street Seaport and the Brooklyn Bridge. So I'm going to show you that right now. So this is on the opposite end. And when I tell you that these houses go between $3 and $4 million, now you're going to see why. Because a short distance from 58 Joralemon, you have all of this. So as I say, I took this in March, and I wanted to give you an idea now. We're getting closer to it as we walk down, but I wanted to show you how narrow these streets are because the streets were designed for horses and carriages back in the day, back in the 1800s. So it's a very, very narrow place to drive. Not the most fun place to drive in Brooklyn. I've driven it many, many times, but I wanted to give you a feel for what the neighborhood really looks like and why it's so expensive and exclusive and why it's so strange for this house on 58 Joralemon to be here in the middle of all of this as the subway, as what the MTA calls a ventilator, which is so very strange. You know, one of the earliest conspiracy theories I heard in my life when I was a little kid, and I'm not saying it's true, was that there was actually a hidden train track underneath the substations. You know, you have the main subway line, then you have substations, and then you have maybe a track below that. Now, that track below that is what I heard rumors about ever since I was a little kid. Back when I was little, you know, after the Cold War, I had heard some of the older veterans talk about, you know, it was a train track underneath there so we could shuttle like the Minuteman missiles back and forth from the east and west coast, and just in case something would have happened, we could switch them from one side to another. I don't know about all that stuff, but I do know that this part of Brooklyn is the oldest part of Brooklyn. George Washington, of course, spent some time here during the Revolutionary War. It was also for a brief period where the White House was for about a year back in the day, back before they, you know, put it in Washington. And it's just a fascinating place. So with no further ado, I want to show you the outside of that mysterious house. Alrighty, so with no further ado, this is the house I was telling you about. And I have a video of this, like I told you, but I just wanted to show you some stills of this and pan over it. Now, you could see the houses on either side. That's number 60 Joralemon Street. This is number 58, the house in question. And right next door is number 56. Now, the people who live in number 56, their house, I just Googled it on Zillow. Their house is valued at $3.6 million. And you can see this is number 58. And apparently the people who live next door in number 56, they actually rent the garden in the back. I couldn't get a picture of it from the backyard perspective, but they actually rent this house. Actually, they rent the yard from the Metropolitan Transit Authority for $200 a month. Now, the MTA says that this house is a ventilator, and I'll show you some more of this as we go on. But as you can see, they got like, right off the bat when you look at it, the windows look very strange. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures of what people got when they peered through this front door. Now, according to the MTA, as we all know, this house sits above, 9 stories above the subway station for the 4 and 5 train. And according to the MTA, they use this house as a ventilator shaft, to bring air into the tunnel and expose air out of the tunnel. It's also an emergency exit that is used if people get stuck on the train in the tunnel. To my knowledge, no one's ever come out of this house through an emergency tunnel. The 5 train, 4 train, it's never needed to have that happen. But let me just show you more of my video now, show you the outside. So now here's more of my video that I took, and I just want to show you just what this looks like from a video perspective. Here's a dead giveaway right here. Who has that outside of their house? Right? Sign like that. And who has these strange kind of windows? Now, obviously, the MTA is saying this is a ventilator shaft, but I mean, they're talking about raising the subway fare. Maybe they should sell this house so we don't have to pay as much for the subway. I'm stopping my video right here again. I don't want to show you, to show you how weird this is. Who has this out? So we used to call this, like my friend used to call it an areaway. I don't know. Obviously, that's a Brooklyn word, but it's just basically the part of the front of your near your stoop. But who's got this in the front of their stoop? You can see it says FDNY, street to tunnel, communications Joralemon tube, right? Tells you about that down there. It also talks about the 4 and 5 line, New York City Transit. So very, very strange situation on that block. And like I said, they're talking about raising the subway fare because this house is probably worth between $3 and $4 million. Maybe they should sell this ventilator shaft and put that toward the fare. Between the COVID and all the stuff that's going on, regular people could use a break on the subway fare. I want to stop the video right here. I'm going to throw in some pictures that I have of the some of the inside of this building. And like I say, I'm just saying I don't know. I don't know about, like I said, the conspiracy theories or whatever, but I can tell you it's awfully strange. And I don't know of any other buildings like this in Brooklyn, especially in such a ritzy neighborhood as this, where a shaft is needed, where, not for nothing, using a Brooklyn term, if you have to come, I did some research from that 4 and 5 line. If you have to exit this building, according to the MTA, you have to walk up 9 flights of steps to come out that front exit. Now, heaven forbid you're in a wheelchair or you're on crutches or you're, let's face it. Most of us Americans, we get winded after climbing 2 flights. Heaven forbid you have to get out of there really fast. I don't really think this is a viable option. But like I said, like we say in Brooklyn, I'm just saying, and I'll leave the rest for you guys to figure out and determine. But I just thought this would be really interesting to show you all that this is and how mysterious this building really is. All right, so I figured I'd show you some footage that I took that day. This is the Court Street Borough Hall Station, which has the R, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5 trains which come in. And, if you're ever on this subway track and heaven forbid you have to ever disembark and have an emergency exit, then maybe you'll come out of that secretive building. I don't know. But I just figured this would be a cool way to end the video, just to show you what's really kind of above what we were showing on the street before. And what do you guys think? I'd really love to hear anybody else's opinion on this as to what they know about this building on 58 Joralemon Street. Any secret stories? Maybe there's hauntings. I don't know. But for now, I'm going to sign off. I want to thank you for watching the video. And please tune in, please like, please share, please subscribe. All of our proceeds go to our foundation, the Waffles Foundation. So thank you folks for joining us, and I'll see you in the next video.